Michael Bossakiu is a global affairs analyst and senior fellow with the Atlantic Council and says there was a sense of inhumanity from Russia to strike on a religious holiday.
I think it was probably deliberate. Vladimir Putin is well known for making big deals out of holidays, including religious ones, and to strike on Palm Sunday when a lot of people are out worshiping just, I think, underlines their sense of inhumanity. The latest figures I just checked before coming on with you, according to state-controlled media in Ukraine, is 34 dead in Sumy and 119 injured. There are a lot of reports circulating on Ukrainian social media right now of children, and just it's so sad. A lot of them were prime of their lives, really, really accomplished. And the total figure of civilians killed so far in this war is 13,000, including 600 children, which is why very, very often I called this a children's catastrophe. Also worth noting, in the southern Ukrainian port city of Odessa, where I'm usually based, there was a drone attack overnight, 8 injured there. So it's not just Sumy, it's everywhere. And of course, in the aftermath of this, President Zelensky is putting out another call for more robust air defense systems, because that's the only things that can stop these very fast and high-powered Russian missiles.
Yes, the devastation continues throughout. So what sort of message do you think Vladimir Putin was putting out, not just to Ukraine, but also Washington, against the backdrop of these attacks you've just spoken about? Because the Trump administration has told Vladimir Putin directly to get a move on with the ceasefire.
I think there are a couple things at work here. Is one, Mr. Putin is trying to push Mr. Zelensky to be toppled. I think he's betting on that. If he strikes enough cities, kills enough civilians, damages enough infrastructure, that Zelensky's popularity will go down and people will press for a rapid-fire ceasefire deal. Well, that's not happening. But clearly, this is a sign of disrespect. Mr. Putin disrespecting Mr. Trump, because Mr. Trump has told both sides to cool it and put down their arms and work towards a peace deal. So Mr. Putin is showing no sign of that. But we're also getting very mixed signals from the Trump administration. It's worth reminding everyone that, before he was even inaugurated, Mr. Trump said he would end the Ukraine war in one day. Well, it's only escalating. And by the way, we say the same thing is, happening in Gaza. So Mr. Trump is very desperate, I think, for a kind of foreign affairs win. That's not happening for him. So I don't know what leverage he has against Mr. Putin, but these are the kind of situations where authoritarian leaders, heartless leaders like Mr. Putin, test the lines. And when you have no solid red lines enforced by the United States any longer, they will go further. And if you ask me, worst case scenario, that would be Mr. Putin trying to shift the lines even further and go all the way to Odessa, perhaps even the Moldova border. But finally, in the background of all of this, we also have Trump's envoy, General Kellogg, saying 2 or 3 days ago to the Times of London that they are talking about the kind of partitioning of Ukraine, that Russia could have all of the territory east of the Dnipro River, which no Ukrainian president could ever agree to.
Yeah, Michael, on another facet of this war, we saw last week Ukraine claiming more than 100 Chinese nationals are fighting on the Russian side. And now we are seeing Russian military recruitment ads appearing on Chinese social media, which the ABC has verified. What's going on here?
Well, Russia is desperate for more manpower. They've been absolutely slaughtered on the front lines. So they're desperate for fighting men from places like North Korea, China, and elsewhere. But, it doesn't seem to make a big difference for them, because these are a lot of men who have not been in a real battlefield situation. Experts say they're not making that big of a difference. But yeah, Mr. Zelensky said there could be as many as, I believe he said 150 Chinese nationals fighting. The other thing we're learning from the very well-respected Institute for the Study of War is that the Chinese government did send a delegation to the front line to see how this modern battlefield, kind of warfare is working. We also have to, worth reminding people that even though China says it's taking a neutral stance on the war, they're certainly not pushing back on this sort of recruitment. They have the means to do so, they're not. And secondly, there's well-documented evidence that China is providing not only dual-use technology to the Russians, but also drone engines, and now there's talk of even fully completed drones. So if you call that a neutral stance, well, it gives it a completely new meaning.
Okay, now, Michael, finally, you are in Thailand, in Phuket, working and researching about the increasing number of Russians in that country and the region. What have you observed there so far, and how is this related to the war in Ukraine?
Yeah, well, I'm in Phuket right now. You don't have to look very far. Just go 2 blocks from here and you'll hear Russian. You'll see Russian signs. You'll see Russian restaurants. You'll see a lot of Russians here. In fact, there's been a downturn in Chinese incoming tourism to Thailand. So Thailand, like many countries, is looking to other markets. And in terms of tourism from Russia, 1.4 million last year alone. And here to Phuket in the first 3 months of this year, almost 400,000. These are huge numbers. And we're not talking just about tourists, because there's a 90-day visa upon arrival scheme here, and it's very easy to get a business or education visa for 1 year. A lot of Russians have settled here and, set up businesses. Now, a lot of them are probably escaping the possibility of being drafted into that Russian meat grinder that I spoke about. But others here are looking at this as a new market for them. It's not been widely well received here. There have been reports in local media of Russians taking over certain sectors of the economy, for example, the taxi industry. But also, yet again, Thailand likes to position itself as a neutral country, but it too is providing dual-use technology under sanctions to the Russians, and also aircraft parts as well. So trade between Thailand to Russia has surged from $8.3 million in 2022 to almost 100 million last year. So that's just an enormous increase. So it kind of mirrors also what's happening in the UAE, where the Russians have become the biggest buyers of the luxury real estate market.
Yeah, it's a fascinating development as this war continues. Michael Bossack, really good to get your thoughts as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.